So it's been said now for decades in the HVAC industry that high MERV rated filters is going to damage your HVAC equipment and is going to shave years off the life of the system. But how true is all of this? To answer this question, I tested 12 different filters. These filters range from cheap $6 filters all the way up to expensive $130 filters. And the results were actually kind of surprising to me.
Hi, this is Kenneth with Atlas AC, and at any point during this video, if you find it to be helpful, please hit the like button, and that will really help me out with the YouTube algorithms.
So the reason why most HVAC professionals will tell you to not buy a high MERV rated filter is because the higher the MERV, the more particles it has to capture. So the fabric has to be kind of knit finer and finer the higher that you go in MERV. And by doing this, it's not going to allow the same amount of airflow through as a low MERV rated filter. So I'm questioning if there are certain brands that perform better, or will the thickness of the filter help, or maybe the number of pleats in the filter. So the way that I'm going to be conducting this test is by measuring the static pressure that each filter creates. Then from there, we can use the manufacturer's data sheet to see the reduction in CFMs, which is going to tell us how big of a restriction we have, aka how much extra load are we putting onto the system. So here's the list of filters that we're going to be testing today. We have 7 different 1-inch filters and 5 different of the thicker 4 to 5-inch filters. So what we're looking for is, does the brand make the difference? Or does the thickness of the filter? Or does more pleats help? So to start the test, the first thing that I'm going to do is to turn the temperature way down at the thermostat. That way the system is constantly calling for cooling. And I'll be able to turn it off and back on again at the furnace. So here's our 5-ton, 22-year-old gas system that is feeding the south wing of our office. So where I was just pointing is where I'm going to install the first manometer probe in order to measure static pressure. And here's our really big filter cabinet that's right in front of the fresh air that's going to allow us to test all sorts of filters. Now the second probe is going to go in between the furnace and the filter cabinet. So to get started, we need a drill and a 3/8 drill bit, and I'm going to punch a hole in between the evaporator coil and furnace. And for all y'all Ryobi haters out there, I don't blame y'all. I had to constantly tighten the bit and it just kept slipping. Now we're going to add our 3/4 inch rubber grommet. This is going to ensure that the probe doesn't move around during the test, so we can maintain as much accuracy as possible throughout the test. Now we're going to install probe number 1, and it needs to be pointed towards the furnace. And from here we're going to connect probe number 1 to our manometer using a clear rubber tube. So probe number 1 is installed after the blower on the furnace and before the supply ductwork, and it's measuring the positive pressure in this space. And the measurement units that it's using is inches of water column. And we're not going to jump into inches of water column in this video because we really don't need to. So basically the way that it works, the higher the number that the manometer is displaying, the more air is being trapped into the space and is not freely moving to the supply ductwork. So this means that the furnace is pushing a lot of air, but it's not going anywhere. This adds additional strain to the system, making it run longer and harder. Now I'm starting on probe number 2 on our return side. And the perfect spot for this probe is in this ductboard transition, in between our filter cabinet and the furnace. And the return probe is reading the exact opposite from the supply probe, because on that side of the furnace, it's pulling the air and not pushing it, because the probe is installed before the blower. So the suction of the system creates a negative pressure reading. And the lower the reading, the more the system is being starved of air. So it's not getting enough to do its job. So it's working longer and harder. So we'll get to see what kind of increased load each filter is putting on the system. So one of the important things to note here is none of these filters are designed to properly fit into this filter cabinet. So it's actually sitting below our return opening, about 1.5 inches on the bottom and 1 inch on the top, which there's an easy workaround with this problem. And that was our probe sticking through our transition. So here I'm turning on and zeroing out the manometer to make sure we get accurate INWC readings. Now we're going to do a baseline test with no filter. So I'm going to close the filter cabinet, then fire back up the system by closing the bottom furnace panel. And the top panel can stay off because it's not going to affect the airflow. Now we're going to record our port 1, port 2, and static pressure readings. So port 1 is showing 0.4 IWC. And port 2 is showing negative 0.15, making our external static pressure 0.55. So if we were dealing with a brand new residential system, I would consider 0.55 external static pressure without a filter to be high, because most of the new residential equipment is rated for 0.5 external static pressure, and that is including the filter. And with the older system like this one, we're able to get by with high static pressures because the equipment is just a lot simpler. And now with the increase in efficiency that is required from the CR2 rollout, and if you start running your external static pressure above 0.5, over time you're going to start burning up $2,000 ECM motors. Now that we have our baseline established at 0.55 external static pressure, Let's go ahead and test our first filter of the day. So I picked this filter up at Home Depot, and it is their HXD5 filter, which is a MERV 8, and it cost me $6.37, and is our cheapest filter we're going to be testing. Before I put the filter in the filter rack, I first need to clear the manometer. After that, fire up the system. So we're going to be using the suction of the system to hold the filter in place, and the filter does stay in place quite nicely, and it's completely covering the return air, like what we want it to do. And just by adding a MERV 8 filter, our external static pressure jumped up to 0.74. And this was kind of surprising to me because I wasn't expecting a MERV 8 filter to make the static pressure go up that much. So you might be asking, how big of a restriction is that? Well, let's find out. Here's the CFM chart for this furnace, and here's the furnace that we were using. We also ran our furnace in high, so this top row of CFMs is what we're going to be looking at. And up here we have external static pressure, ranging from 0.1 all the way to 0.9. So at 0.5 external static pressure, we are looking at 2,000 CFMs of airflow, or 5 tons of airflow. And at 0.9 external static pressure, we're looking at 1,676 CFMs, which is almost only 4 tons of airflow. So that means from 0.5 external static pressure to 0.9 external static pressure, the system is only able to push a little over 4 tons through it. And this is adding a big additional load on the system. Quick disclaimer, these CFM charts are only good for brand new systems, not a 22-year-old furnace that's pretty worn out. However, I'm still going to use this chart to point out the differences in between filters, because all we're after at the end of the day is the delta in between the filters. So you can see here with no filter, we're operating at 0.55 external static pressure, meaning it's able to deliver 1,965 CFMs, or 4.9 tons of airflow. And with the filter that we just tested, it's running at 0.74 external static pressure, or 1,820 CFMs, and it's able to deliver 4.55 tons of airflow. So just by adding a 1-inch MERV 8 filter, we just restricted the system by 1/3 of a ton. I want everybody to keep in mind how our ductwork plays a major role in all of this. Because let's say our ductwork was sized right, and we were running 0.3 external static pressure without a filter, then this filter would work great for us. Now that we got our first filter test done, we're going to rinse and repeat this process. So I'm going to shut down the system, pull out the old filter, and grab our next filter. And this filter is another Home Depot special, which is an HDX7 MERV 11 filter. And I was able to buy this filter for a whopping $14.97. Now we're going to zero out our manometer before firing up the system and inserting the filter. After inserting this filter, there was a noticeable difference in resistance over the MERV 8 filter. And the filter was kind of concaving into the return air, which the MERV 8 filter didn't do. Now we need to close our filter cabinet and see what our static pressure readings are. So you can see that our external static pressure has now jumped up to 0.83. So I just added my MERV 11 HDX7 filter to our chart, and now you can see that this filter was sitting at 0.83 external static pressure, and the CFMs are going to now be running around 1,740 or 4.35 tons of airflow. So this filter added almost 0.3 external static pressure, which is not good if we're trying to keep our external static pressure under 0.5. Because increasing our load on the system by 0.28 external static pressure, just by using this MERV 11 filter, doesn't leave very much room for the ductwork external static pressure. However, my next question is that due to the MERV rating or the brand? Well, let's find out. Let's shut back off the system, pull out the filter, grab our next filter, which is going to be a 3M1000. It's also a MERV 11 filter. I picked this one up at Walmart for $13.44. Before we put in the filter, I need to zero out the manometer and fire up the system. And I had a hard time with this filter trying to get it to seat over the return, and that's because this filter wasn't sturdy at all, and it felt like it was going to get sucked into the furnace. So after a little bit of work, I was able to get it seated properly to where the filter was completely covering the return air. So the top looks good, and the bottom does too. Now let's close our filter cabinet and see what our results are. So we're looking at 0.82 external static pressure, which is very similar to the Home Depot filter. So now I'm wondering if it's not so much about the brand, but the design of the filter, like the thickness or number of pleats. Okay, so here we have our MERV 11 3M filter, and you can see it's running at 8.2 external static pressure, or it's able to deliver 1,748 CFMs, making that 4.37 tons of airflow. So a slight improvement over the last filter. Well, we got a lot of filters to get through, so let's keep on trucking. Now that we all got a good idea of what we're doing here, I'm going to skip some of the more repetitive steps so this video doesn't end up being an hour long. So we got another MERV 11 filter here, which I also picked up at Walmart. This brand is Filter Buy, and it cost me $10.97. So our cheapest MERV 11 filter that we're going to test. This filter does seem to be a little bit more sturdy than the last two, so we're coming up with the exact same readings as the 3M filter, and that is 0.82 external static pressure. So I added in this MERV 11 filter to our chart. So the last three MERV 11 filters all had very similar readings. So when it comes to filters that are very similar to one another, meaning similar MERV ratings, and is also similar in design, we can see that the static pressure pretty much stays the same. Now let's jump up to a MERV 12 filter, and this is Home Depot's HCX9 filter, and this one cost me $19.97. And this filter was almost not sturdy enough to handle the resistance. As you can see here, the furnace was about to eat this one. And once again, we're pulling 0.82 external static pressure, and the reason why I think it's not pulling more is because this filter wasn't completely covering the return, leaving this little air gap. So I'm going to have to say for this filter, I wouldn't consider our readings to be all that accurate. Okay, so I got the MERV 12 filter added to our chart. And as you can see, it's pulling the exact same external static pressure as the last two filters. And I really do think that's from the air gap. Now let's try a MERV 13 filter by brand from Walmart. This one cost me $16.97. The filters that the filter by brand makes is by far the most sturdy filters in this test so far. It doesn't look like the furnace is trying to eat it like some of the other ones. So it looks like our external static pressure levels out at 0.93, which is a fairly big jump over the previous filters. So we got our MERV 13 filter added to our chart. And you can see it's pulling 0.93 external static pressure, which is actually a pretty big increase over the other filters. So with this high of a static pressure, the system is only able to deliver 1,649 CFMs, or 4.12 tons of airflow. And just by adding the filter, it increased the external static pressure by 0.38, which if you're wanting your HVAC system to operate at 0.5 external static pressure, this filter is going to make that near impossible. So now let's try 3M's 2500 filter, which is a MERV 14. This is the most expensive 1-inch filter that we're testing, coming in at $26.86. And what's unique about this filter, it has far more pleats than the other filters we have tested. And it's also even more sturdy than the filter by brand, which makes my life a little bit easier. So this increases the amount of surface area that this filter has over the other ones. And the question is will the increased surface area relieve some of the resistance of the filter? So our external static pressure is coming in at 0.85, and when we add it to our chart, we can see that it has a decent improvement over the MERV 13 filter. So this filter is pulling a static pressure of 0.85 and is able to deliver 1,721 CFMs, or 4.3 tons of airflow. So this filter still increased the external static pressure by 0.3, which is still fairly substantial. So I guess our key takeaway with this filter is it does have twice the amount of fabric as our last filter. It also has a higher MERV rating, and it still performed better. The performance isn't ideal, but I think we're onto something. So now let's say in the same vein of, does increasing the fabric of the filter help reduce static pressure? So let's test some 4-inch filters. So this is a generic MERV 8 4-inch filter that I bought from a local supply house, and it cost me around $32. And online it's showing around $47. So the external static pressure is coming in at 0.67 on this one, which is our best reading so far. So now I got the MERV 8 4-inch filter added to our chart, and you can see that it's running at a 0.67 external static pressure and is able to deliver 1,877 CFMs, or 4.69 tons of airflow, which this is a dramatic improvement over all the other filters we've tested so far. It only increased the external static pressure by 0.12. Now let's try a 5-inch MERV 8 filter from Air Bear. That cost $39.79. This filter did come in the day after I tested all the other filters, so I am testing it the next day. And the nice thing about working with such a big filter cabinet, we're able to easily play with the thickness of the filters. So even though it's a 5-inch filter, it still fits in quite nicely. Now let's go ahead and close up our filter cabinet. So after our manometer stabilizes out, the external static pressure is coming in at 0.72, which is a little higher than our generic 4-inch MERV 8 filter. So now I got the MERV 8 Air Bear filter added to our chart. You can see that it's pulling 0.72 external static pressure and is able to deliver 1,836 CFMs, or 4.6 tons of airflow. So there is a slight dip in performance over our last filter we tested. And when we were buying filters from Air Bear, I saw that they made a MERV 10 charcoal filter. So I figured we might as well test this one too. And this filter cost me $48.98. So it's a fairly pricey filter. And after getting the filter put in, closing up the cabinet, our external static pressure stabilizes out at 0.79. So we did see a decent jump over the MERV 8 filters. Okay, so I got the MERV 10 charcoal filter added to our chart, and you can see it's pulling 0.79 external static pressure, and is able to deliver 1,775 CFMs, or 4.4 tons of airflow. So this filter isn't performing all that well for a thicker filter, because this filter is operating in the same vicinity as the MERV 11 filters. Now let's take a look at our standard MERV 11 Air Bear filter. This filter cost me $46.65. And I'm curious to see how this is going to compare to the charcoal MERV 10 filter. And our external static pressure ends up stabilizing out at 0.73. So this filter is actually performing better than the MERV 10 charcoal filter. Okay, so I got the MERV 11 Air Bear filter added, and you can see it's pulling 0.73 external static pressure and is able to deliver 1,829 CFMs, or 4.57 tons of airflow, and you can see it's performing fairly close to the MERV 8 air bear filter. And I kind of do think testing the MERV 8 air bear filter on a different day probably messed something up, because I wouldn't think they would be testing so close together. So our last filter we're going to test is a Carrier MERV 15 3.5 inch filter. And this filter costs $129.33. And it also has an insane amount of pleats like you just saw. So what I'm curious to see is if a manufacturer was going to design and build a high MERV filter, are they doing anything different to keep from damaging the equipment? So this filter was quite a bit heavier in comparison to all the other filters. And it's simply due to the amount of fabric that's in this filter, and the suction from the return air wasn't able to hold it in place. The filter was dropping down to the bottom of the cabinet. So I added a little piece of a PVC pipe underneath it, and that seemed to do the trick. And our external static pressure is coming in at 0.71. And you can see that it's pulling a 0.71 external static pressure and is able to deliver 1,847 CFMs, or 4.62 tons of airflow. And this is the highest MERV rated filter that we tested. And it also ends up being the second best performing filter on this list, right underneath the 4-inch MERV 8 non-brand filter. Okay, so let's look at the same information in order from the best performing filters to the worst performing filters. So if we're trying to answer the question, does the brand of the filter matter? My answer is yes and no. Because it appears to me that buying a filter off the shelf from a big box store doesn't really matter what brand you buy once you compare the filters apples to apples. However, if you're buying a filter that's made from an HVAC manufacturer, it's clear that they're going to design it to protect their equipment. Because if they make filters that damage their own equipment, that's not going to be good for business. Now, the downside to these filters is they typically require a specific media cabinet, which won't work with any other filter. Along with that, they are expensive. However, you're not going to be damaging your equipment. Now, when it comes to the thickness of the filters, we did see a drastic improvement going from a 1-inch filter to a 4-inch filter. And to answer the question, do more pleats in the filter help? And it absolutely does. And kind of the overarching conclusion that I have here is the more fabric, the better. So even if I was trying to make the worst performing filter on this list work, we would need to double the return size and add an additional 20 by 25 filter. So you would have 2 filters feeding the HVAC system instead of 1. So once again, we had to increase the fabric to make it work. So overall, if you have a standard house with standard ductwork and you're wanting to run a super high rated MERV filter, your best option is to go with a 4-inch filter with a lot of filter pleats, mid-range MERV rating. And if you're looking for something like a MERV 11 filter, a standard 4-inch filter should be just fine. And when it comes to the 1-inch filters, on a traditional HVAC system, you probably shouldn't go past MERV 8 unless you increase the return and number of filters. Now in my house, I run a MERV 5 just to keep as much of the load off the system as possible. And for allergies and cleaner air, I use a Remy Halo to take care of that part. So you might want to check out this video next to see how a Remy Halo works.
If you found this video to be helpful, please hit the like button. We also have free buyer's guides and price lists on our website that you might want to check out. Until next time, have a good one.